What's up, guys? This is Cromar with TGN. Welcome you back to some Mists of Pandaria Warlock action, and this is Demonology, and I'm going to show you how awesome Demonology is now. It's really, really complex. Don't forget when you see the Shadow Bolt, it's not the new Shadow Bolt animation. It's actually because of a glyph with the Shadow Bolt that makes it look like that. But who's not going to use this glyph? Honestly, it's amazing. So one of the things, let me get my Wrath Guard in the action there, put him on assist. One of the things that you may have heard about this Demonology, because it was very well publicized when everything was announced, is that in fact you don't need, or in fact there's no cooldown on your demonic, on your metamorphosis anymore. Instead, you've got a new resource called Demonic Fury, and this is kind of the core. Switching back and forth between your forms freely, as I'm going to do right in this second, is kind of the core of playing this this character, core playing this class. It's really cool. Yeah, so I'm just going to constantly be swapping back and forth. I mean, take a look at it. If you watch, my Demonic Fury is falling because all my abilities cost it. Plus, it's constantly draining like 6 seconds. So I can't just stand there in demon form all day long. That's going to swap out eventually. So I'm just kind of spamming here like crazy. I've got a new ability. I'll just cast it real quick. Carrion Swarm, so you see it. And it's also a knockback. I'm going to swap back because my Demonic Fury gets low. Start spamming again. Let's put my Hand Equal Dan on there. I'm going to show you the tooltips in a minute so you understand what's going on with these spells. Look at that. Look at that animation. Animation's just freaking trippy. That almost makes me want to play Demonology just for the animation. I'll probably use it for a thumbnail image or something. It's so cool looking. I've never really even been into all the cool effects and stuff in this game either. This is just really exceptional. Anyway, so enough about that. Let's swap back, refresh Doom, and go back to spamming Soulfires. Yes. So what you got to do is you got to manage your two forms, your demon form and your warlock form. So let's go ahead and switch out. Call back my Wrath Guard, and let's talk about these abilities, what they do. So a lot of the very base abilities, stop wanting. A lot of the base abilities here, I already showed you in the destruction video, so I don't need to go over those again. But I just want to go over the ones that have changed. Now your Shadow Bolt and your Soulfire are almost unchanged. The main difference is that Soulfire is like Chaos Bolt and that it auto crits, and your crit chance actually increases the damage. So that's a decent change. And otherwise, it's the same deal. It's a cast time spell. You get sped up by a buff. In this case, it's Molten Core. Since Incinerate does no longer exist for Demonology, it's destruction only. And Shadow Bolt's totally unchanged. You use your abilities to generate the Demonic Fury. Yeah, and just by the way, this Molten Core comes up all the freaking time. It just came up while I'm standing here, which is pretty awesome. And these are your two core damage cast time abilities. Your Fell Flame is largely unchanged, although it changes in demon form. I'll show that in a bit. Hand of Gul'dan now. Instead of a cast time, it's got you can cast it while moving and everything. It just drops the meteor right on their head. It does do an AoE now. Remember, before it was single target. The aura was AoE, but the damage was single target. And it applies the Shadowflame debuff. Let's see the Shadowflame debuff again, which reduces the movement speed of the target and also puts a dot. So you want to try to maintain that dot as much as you can, although it's a little tough. It recharges a little too slowly to maintain it 100%. But anyway, every time you cast it, you use a 1 charge, and it can stack up to 2 charges. The charge system is kind of going. I think all the classes have some charge ability. Now I'm not positive about that. I know Monk does and Shaman does, but most classes, I think, have a charge ability, which means that instead of relying on a cooldown, you can spam it. You can spam it twice in a row, and the Shadowflame debuff will stack up. But then you got to sit and wait forever for it to recharge. Or you can just use one at a time and wait for it to, stack back up to 2. Or in a second, it'll be back up to, well, it's only back up to 1. Yeah, so spamming it twice in a row means you got a long wait before you can spam it twice in a row again. Or you can use it every single time it pops up to 1 charge. So that's the difference between charge and cooldown, and it's pretty neat. I kind of like it. Especially for this ability. It has a lot of strategy to it. Now the Hand of Gul'dan, I mean, this is just radically different than the Hand of Gul'dan from Demonology. The only thing that's the same is it looks like a meteor. Almost everything else about it's different. One of the interesting things here is that I showed you that the Shadowflame debuff will stack. This provides kind of a decision you have to make at a split second in combat. Do you want the 60% slow, or do you want a much longer duration slow? Because I have 2 charges now, so I can cast 1, and then I can beat up the guy. I'll Shadow Bolt him or something while he's escaping. He doesn't get away from me. I don't have Curse of Exhaustion, obviously, so I'll just run up and then I'll cast it again and slow him again. He'll be like, Jesus, this Warlock just keeps slowing me over and over again. Him and his buddy, since it's an AoE slow. And now I've got another charge, so I can do it a 3rd time. And then by the time the debuff runs out, I'll have to wait a little bit longer for a 4th charge, and then I'll be done. So I essentially have 4 in a row. If I'm starting from fully recharged, I'll essentially have 4 Hand of Gul'dans in a row, which is a long duration on that slow. So that could be really, really useful in PvP. But you got to make that decision. You got to make the decision on the fly. It's a skill cap issue to figure out the best times to use that. So very happy about that change. Very happy. Now that's your core cast time abilities, but there's a few other abilities here and there I want to show you. Your big buff, which is Dark Soul Knowledge, is no longer in Destruction. The version of this actually gives you a crit. This version gives you Mastery. Otherwise, they're essentially the same skill. Because back in Cataclysm, the differences were based on your pet, whereas now it's based on your spec. So that's the only difference there. Metamorphosis, we talked about this quite a bit. The tooltip only says it increases damage, but I just want to clarify something. If you were looking at that tooltip, and I have the wrong thing open. Where's my abilities menu? There we go. If you go over to your passives, Nethermancy. If you look at the passives here, Nether Plating. While using Demon Form, you get all this stuff. All the same basic things you got from Cataclysm. The reason for the distinction, I suppose, is probably the tooltip. It just makes the tooltip really simple. That's my guess anyway. There may be some other reason that I'm not realizing, and if you figure that out, you know, feel free to tell me. But as far as I know, it's because of the tooltip. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and start spamming here just a little bit. Again, by the way, your pets, I forgot to mention it, your pets actually generate Demonic Fury with their attacks as well, so you want to keep them out in the forefront. Yeah, you spawn wild imps off your Shadow Bolt now. I'm going to build up some Demonic Fury, and then I'm going to start showing you in a little more detail the changes to abilities. Because rather than just pumping up the, I mean, it radically changes your abilities in Demon Form. It's actually really cool. I need to keep my Corruption up. Alright, that's enough. So I'll swap. Now, Corruption turns into Doom. I showed you this very briefly in the beginning of the video, but Corruption turns into Doom, and they both stack. I can have Corruption and I can have Doom on here. And my Touch of Chaos, which is my replacement for Shadow Bolt, which I can use while moving, by the way, is, yeah, it's totally spammable. That actually refreshes the duration on Corruption, which is cool. Next thing that changes is it changes your curses to auras. They don't stack, but you can turn on your aura. It's a 2-minute duration, and you kind of never have to cast Curse of Elements as long as you remember to refresh this thing every 2 minutes while you're in demon form. Then the actual curse itself you have to cast, and it'll affect everyone around you. It's affecting this guy I'm not even attacking, which is really, really awesome. Let's put the Hand of Gul'dan back on there. There's still a couple other abilities I didn't get to before I ran out of Demonic Fury. But notice my Doom is still going, by the way. I just want to point that out. My Doom is actually still going. That is so cool. And my wand is auto-attacking when I'm not casting anything. I like that too. Alright, Doom's about to run out soon. I need a mod for this. I know there's some good mods out there. I've used them in the past. I did a whole video on them way back at the start. So I got some Demonic Fury, so I'm going to switch back. I'm going to pop Doom and put that on there. Yeah, let's get this debuff going again. By the way, what's it called? Hand of Gul'dan becomes Chaos Wave, and Chaos Wave automatically procs your Molten Core every time you use it, so you can go ahead and, and bust out a lot more of these Soulfires. Soulfires are very expensive in terms of Demonic Fury, though. They really drain you. Nothing wrong with that. Spamming like a madman here. So I've got my Doom, I've got my Corruption going. I forgot to show you one Void Ray. Turns your Fell Flame into a laser. It's kind of a crappy thing. It just shoots in front of you, it doesn't shoot a target. And yeah, that is a crappy graphic, isn't it? But it hits everything in a line. It's a skill shot, I guess you can call it. It's not targeted. It just hits everything in front of you. There's also something I haven't shown you yet. I'm going to switch back, build up just a little bit of Demonic Fury. I don't need that much. Let's do some more of this. Yeah, let's activate. I should be activating Wrathstorm as part of my core rotation, obviously. That's a no-brainer. So let's say I'm in PvP and I'm just plugging away, and then all of a sudden somebody comes up at me. I need to run away really quickly. What am I going to do? I'm going to Demonic Leap out. Now, first of all, the distance has been increased dramatically, but one thing I like about it is that it does not cost the GCD. You don't have to actually morph first before you leap. And the really cool thing about that also, because Demonic Knowledge, or because Metamorphosis has no cooldown, you pretty much leap as much as you want. There, I'll just leap again. Or I can just leap while I'm in demon form, whatever. I mean, the leap itself only has 10-second cooldown, which gives you amazing mobility, amazing. And I should probably be maintaining my dots here a little bit better, obviously. But I come back into the battle, and you know, the rogue or whatever that was on me, he's kind of gone somewhere else, so I'm free to shoot. Oh, there he comes. He's coming back for me. I'll leap away again. So, very, and then I can do my instant blood fear to get rid of him for that. Very obnoxious if you're fighting a demon warlock. The mobility is going to be just off the charts for these guys. Let me get out of here so I don't waste any more of my my purple bar. All right, well, that's pretty exciting. I love the mobility and everything that you're going to get from this class. The switching back and forth is really difficult to master, I think, to maintain perfect debuffs. I mean, it's going to be high skill cap for perfect damage. You're going to need mods, basically. You're going to need mods really badly to remind you. You got to maintain your R of the elements, right? That's really important. And keep in mind that it maintains while you're out of demon form. If I didn't mention that earlier, that's really crucial because it means that you essentially don't cast Curse of the Elements anymore. Let me test the range on this, by the way. I'm actually curious about this. Let me test this range. If I just walk away, yeah, that's pretty far. A little bit closer. There. Yeah, that's okay range. You might need to cast Curse of Elements if you're at max range, because obviously max range, looks like about 20 yards maybe? Does that sound about right? Or is it just not updating quickly enough? I think it's, yeah, I think it's about 20 yards. Yeah, that looks about right. About 20 yards, 15 to 20 yards, something like that. So, it's... Yeah, I guess you would have to use Curse of Elements a little bit. That's just occurring to me. That's okay. Well, that's all the abilities. I don't think there's any other significant ability changes. There's a couple of abilities I haven't shown you yet. There's a reason for that. You will see them in a moment. But let's go ahead and look at Glyphs before I look at talents. Now, for Glyphs, first of all, Glyph of Dark Soul. This is exactly the same as the Dark Soul Glyph from the Destruction video. I don't really need to go over that too much. It just multiplicatively reduces the active bonus and then adds it to your passive bonus. So it's a straight DPS increase. No brainer there. And then the Shadow Bolt Glyph I showed you, the Nightmare Glyph I just demonstrated in the Destruction video. You don't need to see that again. Now here's the other two big glyphs I have. There's not a lot, honestly, to choose from here. You may have seen Demon Training was amazing for Destruction, and it's probably amazing for the other one too, Affliction, I bet. But honestly, for PvE, increase the number of targets from Legion Strike is kind of pointless, because if you're using Wrathguard like I am, then I don't even think this does anything, because Wrathguard Mortal Cleave hits everybody, hits all targets. So I don't see what this does for you. If you're not using Wrathguard, then it's still not that useful, except against... it's useful for leveling if you're not using Wrathguard. It'd be great for leveling multiple targets, any AoE situation, you know, it adds some extra damage, and adds some extra Demonic Fury as well. But I don't... you know, it's not going to be for bosses. I don't know. PvP, sure. It's just not as powerful as it is for Destruction, but that's okay. I mean, they're not supposed to be automatic glyphs like Prime Glyphs, so that's fine. But anyway, the other two, I've dragging this out for you. The other two. All right, first of all, well, let's show you Imp Swarm first. This gives you Imp Swarm. Now, you saw all throughout these fights I was generating these wild imps passively, which happens constantly while you're shooting. Well, I need a target. Wild Imps summons a whole bunch of them instantly, and they go crazy. Or Imp Swarm, I mean. However, while it's on cooldown, you can't summon any new Wild Imps. I'm not sure what the reason for that is. Maybe it's a balance thing. However, I'll show you once the cooldown's up here. If you have a bunch of Wild Imps already up, then they will not disappear. So you can stack up a couple Wild Imps, then pop this. And you should be popping this on cooldown, by the way. I wasn't using it in my rotation, but you should be using this on cooldown. Now, the other interesting thing is the cooldown is reduced by spell haste. So, I mean, haste, mastery, crit, these are all... I mean, I can't wait. At level 90, I'm going to do some serious testing on this and try to figure out what the best stats are. I'm going to look for EJ and see if they've done the analysis of the best stats for these specs. But for now, it's hard to pick one, because having a cooldown reduced by spell haste is huge. I mean, it's already down to 52%. Or 52 seconds from 60 seconds. And what's my spell haste? 15%. So, I mean, I have a decent amount of haste. This gear isn't even good. But I can definitely see how this thing can be really powerful with more and more haste, because it does add quite a bit of damage. So I was going to show you real quick. Let me just spam a little bit till I get a Wild Imp up. And then I'm going to summon this thing. There's a Wild Imp already. And pop Glyphs, and the original Wild Imp I had is still there. So I have a total of 6 now. And you can stack up, you know, as many as you're able to stack up, pretty much. So that's pretty sweet, but here's the big one, okay? This is the one I've been saving for last. Glyph of Demon Hunting. Teaches you a new ability, which is Dark Apophysis. You imbue yourself... Okay, I'm not even going to read the tooltip because the tooltip doesn't tell you anything useful. The tooltip doesn't really describe what's happening here. What you're actually doing is you're replacing your demon form with Metamorphosis. You can still use Metamorphosis, but you can't use both of them at the same time. It costs 100 Demonic Fury, so I've already got a little bit. So I'm going to pop this and switch over. Now, when I switch over, look at my character. I'm like a hybrid demon warlock. Yeah. Now, this is something you can keep up all the time, okay? Check out your threat increase. Damage taken reduced, threat increased massively. Obviously, you cannot use this in PvE because you will pull mad aggro off of everybody. But another thing, out of range, out of range, out of range. I'm pressing my Shadow Bolt. Oh, wait, what is this? Demonic Slash? Yes, it is a melee ability. It is a melee ability that you get in this form. Most of the other abilities are unchanged, but you essentially lose your Shadow Bolt in this form. You don't gain the damage bonus from Metamorphosis, but you gain, you know, the little bit of defense and threat. What is the purpose of this? Well, damage reduction for PvE, and you can keep it up all the time. It's not like Metamorphosis, you jump in and out. Now, there's one downside to this that I really don't like, and it makes it, you know, it leaves it as kind of more of a novelty than anything. And I'm going to show you when I save up a whole bunch. Watch my Demonic Fury go up. Oh, and the other thing is that I forgot to mention is that it enables the use of a couple of your Metamorphosis abilities, including Carrion Swarm. The tooltip is extremely unhelpful in telling you which ones they are, but it does enable some of them. I think it gives you your Void Ray too, right? Yeah, it does give you the Void Ray, that's what I thought. And some of your abilities cost Demonic Fury. Some of them don't. I don't know. Soulfire costs 80, which is half the normal cost if you're in Metamorphosis. I don't really know what to say about this. I mean, it's very novel. It's very novel. That I will definitely say. Let's get this guy in here so I can actually generate some decent amount of fury. I should probably also stop using it with Soulfire. Would that make sense? I'm trying to build it up here. It obviously doesn't build as quickly as it does normally for all the reasons that I explained. So I think it's a 10-yard range in this, by the way. Alright, so that's good. I got max. Now, let's say I want to go ahead and swap the demon form. Watch my Demonic Fury. Really? It just drains the 200? So you cannot use Dark Apophysis in... So this is what I mean by it replaces your demon form. You can't use Dark Apophysis... Stop wanding. You cannot use Dark Apophysis in grinding, or else you'll basically sacrifice your ability to jump in and out of demon form. So it's really different and kind of neat, but I don't see myself using it. Like if I level, let's say I level Demonology, or I want the main Demonology of PvE, I basically will never use this ability. I might keep it as an emergency. I don't know. Maybe it needs some work, or maybe there's something you can do. I mean, Soul Shatter taunts your targets. Twilight Ward absorbs all schools of damage. So the Soul Shatter taunt's interesting. I mean, it seems like you might be able to save a healer with this in PvE. There could be all kinds of uses for this glyph that I'm just not even aware of or even thinking about, but I don't expect that I'll ever use this thing for normal use. I think there's not that many other glyphs to choose from, to be honest. So, I mean, Glyph of Life Tap no longer consumes health, but instead absorbs healing receive. This is kind of an interesting glyph. I might use this over demon hunting. I think the healers would appreciate it in PvE. So there's other options here. Shadowflame. I don't actually like Shadowflame that much because your Hand of Gul'dan no longer has charges when you use this, but it does increase the slow. I prefer the charges. If I want the big slow, I'll just cast it twice. So I don't like that glyph. So I mean, there's not a lot of other glyphs that you choose from that seem like automatic choices. There's soul consumption. If you kill a target demon form, you heal. That could be almost a no-brainer for leveling, but once you hit 90, I wouldn't use this. So what I'm saying is that I'll probably keep demon hunting on at 90 just because I don't have a lot of other options. And I don't see myself using, but Dark Apophysis is definitely an interesting idea. I think I may just walk around with it on too. It's got a 10-second cooldown, so I can't just activate it whenever I want. But well, I mean, 10 seconds is not that much. But I just think I'll just do all my auction housing in Dark Apophysis form. I just walk around like this. Okay, so I'm going to show you pet abilities last, but next we're going to do talents. let's look at talents. Talents. Now, I already went over these tooltips, so I'm not really going to. I'm just going to talk about my choices. These choices are not set in stone by any means. It's just kind of what I feel like is best. The reason I got Soul Leech is because I did not get the Immolate Leech from Glyphs. I just didn't. I can't sit here and say that I've done the math on this or something. It's not like that at all. I just think that having Touch of Chaos spam and heal you every time is pretty awesome. Destruction doesn't have any spammable abilities that heal from Soul Leech, so I like to be able to be in demon form and basically constantly heal myself. So this is pretty powerful. Shadow Fury over Mortal Coil and Howl of Terror. This is the reason why the stun was removed from your Demon Leap, because you can have Shadow Fury. It would be a little too much if you had both AoE stuns. I prefer Shadow Fury over the others for a lot of reasons. It's got a nice long range, and it's the stun and everything. But then again, Howl of Terror, you don't need the range. You can just leap in. And, oh, look at that. I just discovered something. You can actually leap while you're in Dark Apophysis. That's kind of neat. It actually makes a lot of sense because you need to be in melee. But you can leap in demon form and cast your Howl of Terror. So this is not set in stone by any means. I may find out that this is way better. The next tier, I don't really care about these too much. Sacrificial Pact, probably the best. It's a very good defensive ability. For PvP, I would probably prefer this because there's downsides to the others. I know in an arena I would take Dark Bargain, I think, in arena. But then again, they'll just switch off of you like a bubble, so I'm not sure how useful it'd be, but we'll see. Soul Link is weird as always because the new Soul Link is really fascinating in a way, actually. It just shares all the damage you take, so I've for the same reason I didn't pick it in Destruction, I probably wouldn't pick it here. In PvP, they'll just focus your demon, and in PvE, your demon's constantly going to be hit by all kinds of random crap. You don't have to take half the damage. That's not a good idea. For your level 60 tier, I still took Blood Fear, even though it does the damage, but that's okay. The Instant Fear is way too useful, especially since we don't have Death Coil anymore, and I'm not picking Mortal Coil. So if I'm looking at it this way, if I don't pick Mortal Coil, I need to pick Blood Fear. I need to have some kind of instant, oh shit button that I can press. I don't have Mortal Coil, I don't have Howl of Terror, so I need this one. The other stuff, I've already got a free trinket, so I don't really need that, and I could have 2 free trinkets, and then I can equip a trinket while they're on shared cooldown. I couldn't do that. But I can have 2 free trinkets. 20% of your maximum health, though. It's not exactly free, is it? So, no thanks. Burning Rush. This is, I can drain my health to run really, really fast. This may be really solid for Demon Form. I may wind up going Howl of Terror and Burning Rush, because Burning Rush, I'm already really mobile, but adding this onto it, matter of fact, let's see how it works. Let's pick Burning Rush. They don't need to actually... Oh no, it just added it for me. Sweet. So let me just pop Burning Rush and see how fast I'm moving. I'm going to get out of my Dark Apophysis form. Leap. Look at that. Look how fast I am. I don't know. I might keep this on for leveling, but look how much health it's draining. It's pretty... Yeah, that's... I don't know. That's something to think about. Whether or not it's good, PvP seems like it'd be really, really good. It's just, the downside is pretty huge. So we'll see. Now on to the Grimoires. I already went over these in the last. In the last video. I'm not going to worry about these. I just go with Supremacy because it's so badass. This is why, if you have been wondering the whole video, if you didn't see the other one, you're wondering why I have a Wrath Guard. It's because of this talent. It changes all of your demons to other monsters. So I'm going to show those off one by one. They don't actually add new abilities, they just add new effects to the abilities and whatnot. I've already shown you Mortal Cleave, so that's really the main change for him, but let me go through the other demons here. Let's go to, let me get out of this demon form first. No, as a Wrath Guard, it's the same thing. Where are you at here? Shavara. So your Shavara is a replacement for your Succubus, and she's basically just a DPS, melee DPS pet. I haven't really obviously analyzed the damage she does, but my impression is that it looks pretty decent, so I think she'd be really effective. And keep in mind that she has not only the invisibility to protect her in PvP before you engage, but she has crowd control, which is really cool. This thing is immune to it, but that's okay. You get the point. You've seen Mesmerize, and you've seen the Succubus thing for all the many years you've been playing this game, so it's not that much different. Come on, passive. She will not stop attacking. Thank you. So that's your Shavara. Now, your replacement for your Fell Hunter is one of probably the coolest looking demon, or the biggest change to the demons anyway. You get an Observer. You get a very small Observer compared to the other ones. First, let me just attack this thing. I want to show you the animation for the attack. Yes, instead of Shadow Bite, he does Tongue Lash. Look at that a little closely. Yes, he is literally hitting this thing with his tongue, and no joke. The other thing changes, let's see, what is his... Optic Blast. Yeah, so Optic Blast is on Command Demon. That's what I thought. I'm gonna hit it, and that's the Fell Hunter Interrupt. So that's his Spell Interrupt and Silence. Yeah, so that's mostly a model change. And of course, the other thing, if I forgot to mention, is that all the demons gain 20% extra damage. Let's get a Void Lord out. Void Lord is the last one. I mean, I showed you the Fell Imp already, so I'm not going to show you that again. But the Void Lord has the really cool Void Walker skin, which I quite like quite a bit more than the normal one. And no, he's not that much different. I mean, it's the same thing. He's a tank, whatever. All right, let me get my Wrathguard back out, and I'm going to show you the complete rotation again with all the cooldowns and everything, or at least the best that I can manage with this rotation. I don't admit to be perfect here. I haven't practiced it that much. I've just been trying to kind of figure it out as I go along. So we're going to put our Corruption. We're going to put the other thing on there. We're going to put your Pet on Assist, put the dots. By other thing, I mean Curse of Elements, and then start spamming. And I'm going to build up maybe 800 or 900 before I swap. Or I don't even need to do that, do I? I just realized this. I can just swap now and then put Doom and then just swap back. And now I can go back to Corruption. So this way I can just keep my Doom up the whole time instead of having to wait for it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do. It's actually really awesome. So I don't even have my Dark Intent up. That was stupid. I haven't been using that the whole time. All the wild imps. So let's go ahead and pop Imp Swarm. Let's get like a million freaking imps. Look at, I mean, this is not kidding when it says Imp Swarm. I mean, that really is what it is, right? So let's get our dot going again. I'm not using the dots very efficiently right now. I need to work on that. And I'm gonna pop Mastery right before I swap. Promise. Okay, so anyway, Demon Soul Mastery. Let's swap and start spamming like a madman. Keep my Corruption up. That's good. That's what I wanted. Let's go ahead and put up my Aura of the Elements, so I don't need to use the other thing at all. Doom needs a refresh. Let's refresh that. I think Carrion Swarm is. I think I need to use Carrion Swarm up on cooldown. I'm not positive about that. Corruption's not going to go anywhere because I have the buff from Touch of Chaos continually going on it. And I'm getting a little low. I'm just going to swap out manually instead of draining the rest of my stuff. So, another Hand of Gul'dan. Yeah, I'm way too slow on the Hand of Gul'dans. That's something I would definitely want a mod to help me out with to maintain that debuff. I mean, it's a pretty short debuff. It's already run out. So, let's throw it down again. It's a little hard for me to, I mean, obviously I'll adjust to it the more I practice it. How's Doom doing? I'll basically shift whenever Doom's about to run out. I think that's going to be my goal. Let's do some more. Well, yeah, let's do some more Wild Imps. Sure, why not? My Corruption ran out. Let that run out. That was sloppy. Shouldn't be doing that. A couple more Soulfires. Forgot to do Fellstorm. See, I'm forgetting everything. I'm gonna need a mod to help out with this. So, I've now got. I've actually ran out of mana. So let's go ahead and swap. The demon form. I don't want to shoot you. There we go. Shoot this guy. Swap back our demon form. Let's get everything going again. Your wave of chaos or whatever it's called. Spamming like crazy. Soulfire. Actually, let my Corruption drop off. That was really bad. I'm gonna do one more Soulfire and swap out and get that back up. There we go. Isn't this Shadow Bolt animation amazing? Look at that. Isn't that so cool? So let's get an Imp Swarm going and a Fell. Oh my god, this is complicated. So much stuff going on at once. By the way, this is way more interesting than it was when I first joined the beta. Like, I didn't make a video at the time because it seemed really incomplete, and all this stuff is new. I mean, all the stuff I'm doing here is new. It was not in place in April or whenever I first messed with this. Refresh. I got plenty of time on my other thing, so I'll leave that. I know, I'm really descriptive with my terms, other thing. Every time I say other thing, just assume I mean R of the Elements or Curse of the Elements, because that seems to be the name that I cannot remember. Alright, whatever. Alright, let's call back. So you got the gist of it. I'm sure I'm making a lot of mistakes as I'm going along. The more practice I get, the better I'll get at it. And of course, a mod would help me out a lot. But yeah, the rotation's way more complex than Destruction. Way more. The skill cap appears to be much higher. That's the way I understand it. All the mobility makes... If you're really quick on your feet and good with your mobility abilities, then, you know, Burning Rush, you use that properly. That's just another element of skill. This could be Demonology could be a really high skill cap. And I mean, the Destruction has the Rain of Fire spam, which I'm really I really love the Rain of Fire spam. But this thing, you know, oof. jumping in and out of demon form all the time, you know. I mean, I'll definitely be Demonology for my auctioning. This is my auction spec. I need this for auctioning. I cannot auction without giant purple wings. So I'll probably keep this for that. But for everything else, I don't know if I'll be Destruction Demonology. I haven't even looked at Affliction yet. That's going to be really fun. But yeah, Demonology, really exciting. I hope you guys are looking forward to it as much as I am, because the swapping in and out of demon form is really, really good. I really like all the different rotations. It's going to be challenging. I'll play at level 90. I think I might just play this just for the sheer skill factor alone, just because I don't like boring rotations. I really don't. Back in vanilla, I swapped off my rogue because I just thought rogues at the time were way too boring. It was just Sinister Strike and Eviscerate. So I went to more complex classes, played a Warlock eventually. So that's why, you know, I don't like too simple. And Destruction's not too simple, but this is the more complex the better, I think. So this may be the way I go. And then who knows, I'll probably play Affliction tomorrow and then say, oh, well, Affliction's amazing. It's definitely the way I'm going to go. I can't decide. Oh, the specs are too good, man. The specs are all too good. So anyway, I'm going to log off with my purple wings. But anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Cromar with Demonology on Mists of Pandaria, and I'll see you next time with Affliction.